All right, hey, it's David Shelton, broker Century 21 Advantage in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We're out here on 41st Street today, and we're recording out here even though there's a lot of traffic, because just 2 days ago, maybe on my birthday, actually, to top off my birthday, about 11 o'clock at night, there was a tornado that came through Sioux Falls, and boy, did it do some damage. We're standing in front of some friends of ours, restaurant, China Express on 41st Street near Western Avenue. A great place to eat Chinese food. It is my go-to place to eat Chinese food, so I recommend it highly. We're across from Scheels and where Furniture Mart is. We've got all kinds of damage that's happened here in the area. Behind me, the Western Mall, and then the First National Bank. Then you've got the Burger King, and then what was an auto parts store that just got hammered. And the center right to the west of that auto parts store also got hit, and the roof was messed up, and it was really a tough time. There won't be any pancakes probably at the Pancake House for a few weeks until that mess is cleaned up. Same here with our friends that own the China Express. They were hit lightly, but still, it shut their business down. Electricity is gone for most of the businesses. It was just restored, as we understand it, this morning or yesterday afternoon. But here we've got their business is going to be down for a few days, and then they should be back up sometime next week. But wanted just to share that with you. We got to thinking about what plans do we really have for this kind of an event to happen. It's not common for a tornado to touch down in Sioux Falls, but it did. And so it kind of rattled us. About 30 years ago, on the perimeter of Sioux Falls, there was a tornado, but it didn't do any damage like this one. And so it's got us thinking today. We're doing our 5 and 5, thinking about how we should be prepared as a business, as well as how we should be prepared for our families at home. And we have both interests here in Sioux Falls. We live in Sioux Falls. We also have a business in Sioux Falls. So we thought we'd just share some tips with you. For your family, we know a fellow that was in the military, and he would have what he called for his family, from his military training, he would have that go to hell place, which was a place that if they walked into a public setting, love that sound. If he walked into a public setting with his family and they were going to go into a mall, he would just nod at what their go-to-hell place was, and then they would just go enjoy the mall. If something happened in that mall, if there was a shooting, if there was a disaster, if a tornado hit or something else, the family knew here's where we're going to gather back to. And they had some skills. They were prepared by their dad to cope with things and not lose it. So I got to thinking about that this morning. What is our plan in case we have a disaster that hits our neighborhood, or maybe someplace downtown where we work, or maybe we're shopping in a place and all of a sudden disaster strikes. Are we ready? Do we have a plan? And so Diana Rodriguez had written this, Your Family Emergency Preparedness Plan, back in 2010. But she said, hey, if you're gonna be ready for an event like this to happen, make sure you have plenty of bottled water, some non-perishable, low salt or no salt food items. And the reason for that is simply the more salt you take in, the thirstier you're going to be. Make sure you have a can opener, some clothing and shelter items like blankets, sleeping bags, a tent, some batteries, some toilet paper, some baby wipes to clean up, and then first aid kit with medications if you have medications, an extra pair of glasses. I know I've got some old prescription glasses that I could probably set aside and should set aside for something like that. Flashlights, portable radio, lots of batteries, infant and pet supplies if you have infants or pets, all your medications, contact lenses as well, implements for preparing and cooking food, as well as plates and utensils, matches stored in a watertight box, and copies of your bank statements and credit cards, bank cards, driver's license, and other IDs, and have some cash as well. So in making preparations for these plans, you really need to go more intense and come up with a list of disasters and have a make sense plan for what you do for various disasters. Come up with an evacuation plan like most emergencies, say like a tornado, a flood, wildfire, or a hurricane, and then decide how your family members will communicate with each other, because that's really when things start to go, you start to get sideways. So that's a super important thing to take in consideration, how others are feeling in the moment, how you're going to communicate, and practice those drills. Don't just do it once and done, but really practice those things. All right, so we've got the family meeting place. Come up with a plan to protect yourself and your home in case of tornado or earthquake, including shutting off the utilities. If the utilities aren't yanked out of the ground or yanked away from your house, make sure that you've got a plan and know what to do. Don't go walking outside with down power lines assuming that there's no live electricity in there, because there could be. And also when your house is serviced by water as well as with natural gas, you want to be ready for that as well. And you want to keep your vet records, your records for your pets on file somewhere, and probably in a strong box as well. And so now that you've got your supplies and your plan, does each person know what to do? So make sure each family member, from adults to kids, understands what to do in an emergency. So your kids may be away for the evening with their friends. Make sure that they have a good understanding of how to handle things, because they may be the authority in that situation at their friend's house. For instance, make sure everyone's aware whose job it is to wrangle the pets, who's in charge of shutting off the gas line, electricity, and water. And even though everybody knows their role, whether it's a house fire or natural disaster, do a couple of run-throughs and make sure that you've got it down. Boy, I found that I am woefully deficient. We have not practiced as a family for anything like this to happen, whether it's in our home or if we're separated in others' homes. So this has been a great reminder. I hope I don't procrastinate, because I'm inclined to do that. When everything is good, you remember 9/11. We all got together as a nation, and we got serious about taking it back to the people that attacked us, and that was certainly not a natural disaster, but it was a national crisis. And so there were steps that we wanted to take or needed to take, but then we got complacent. And so I know that just like this tornado hit, 30 years since the last tornado, it may be another 30 years, and it may become more repetitious. But I hope that you take this to heart, that you'll consider your own family, your own situation, whether you're at home together or separated, and how you're going to deal with disasters, and where you can become a vital asset to help save other people's lives. This is David Shelton, broker at Century 21 Advantage in Sioux Falls. Be sure to join us every Friday afternoon at 1 p.m. Central Time for our 5 and 5 live broadcast. You'll sure to find great information there. Be sure to invite your friends and family to our 5 and 5 live broadcast every Friday at 1 p.m. Central Time.